So with so many new and returning players, I've been getting this question over and over. Yo, Skills, where do you get this exotic? Where do you get that exotic? How do I farm this exotic? Where is the best place to get it? So in this video, I'll be going over all the exotics that you can get and what you need to do to get them, farming for them, or even having to do a raid or incursion. But let's get into it. So already you can see I have almost every exotic. Well, I have every exotic in the Division 2. And while there are a ton of exotics because this game has been out for over 6 years, there's just really 5 different ways you can farm exotics in the game. And let's dive into that right now. Number 1 would be if you open up your map and you do targeted loot. What you could do is if you were looking for marksman rifles, you would look for the marksman rifle symbol and you would farm this mission. The same with if you were looking for assault rifles, you would look here and farm this mission. And you could do it in the open world too if any of the open world items were here. Now this also works for Warlords of New York and for Battle for Brooklyn as they have other areas to farm. So the item you might need might be there for that. This does rotate every 24 hours. So every 24 hour, you will have different targeted loot. Now we do have 2 raids here. We have the Operation Dark Hours raid and the Operation Iron Horse raid. And there are 3 exotics tied to the raids. There's 1 tied to the Operation Dark Hours raid, and there is 2 tied to the Operation Iron Horse raid. We also have an incursion, and there is 1 exotic tied to this. Now, for the Battle for Brooklyn, just so you guys know, there will be 1 exotic tied to the Battle for Brooklyn DLC, and most people have been getting it from Army Terminal. We'll talk about it in a few, but you can get it from the open world. And then what we have are quests. So quests either have a full project for you to do, or there's different things you need to do in the game to unlock them. So we'll get into all of that. And finally, with priority objectives, this is another great way for you guys to get exotics. As you guys know, sometimes you'll get rewards down here that say exotic. So I'll re-roll it a few times to see if we get one, and we got one here. If we complete 1 mission in Washington, D.C., we will get a guaranteed exotic item. So that is another way for you guys to get exotics here. And don't forget the exotic caches that also have a chance of dropping exotics. Remember, it is totally random what can drop in there. But again, that is how you can get some of those open world exotics. They will drop from here. And the first exotics we'll dive into are the raid exotics. So let's start with the Eagle Bear. To get the Eagle Bear, you have to do the Dark Hours raid. This is an 8-man raid, so you will need 7 other players. There is no matchmaking on the normal difficulty, and it only drops on normal difficulty, not the discover difficulty. It has a small chance to drop from each boss, and I believe a 10% chance to drop from the box at the end. Now, they did add the Eagle Bearer to the Dark Zone, but the best time to try to farm within the Dark Zone, even with a smaller chance, is when you do see ARs in the Dark Zone. At the moment, you can see we don't have them. But yeah, the 3 Dark Zones do have a small chance to drop the Eagle Bear, but the main way to get it is from Operation Dark Hours. And the next raid exotic we'll talk about is the Ravenous. Now the Ravenous, you're gonna get it from the Iron Horse raid. And that's going to be this raid right here. Again, this is just like the Dark Hours raid. It's an 8-man raid. You will need teammates. There is no matchmaking on normal difficulty, and it does not drop on discovery difficulty. Now this exotic, although it does drop in the Iron Horse raid, just like the Eagle Bear, they did recently add it to the Dark Zones. So if you ever see rifles in the Dark Zones, you have a small chance of getting it from there too. But the main way is going to be from this one. Now the third and final exotic is the Regulus. The difference between the Regulus and the Ravenous and the Eagle Bear is this one is not a drop chance. What you need to do is actually complete the quest, but what you'll have to do is beat the Iron Horse raid. So this exotic, you will get the first 2 projects by beating the Operation Iron Horse raid for the very first time. Now, after you complete those 2 projects, you'll also get another project, which you can see that I have right now, which is the main project. And then you have to go through the raid one more time, collect all of these pieces from each boss, and then you will be able to craft it. I do have a full guide on how to complete the full quest for this exotic. And remember, this one, unlike the other 2, does not drop in the Dark Zone. You can only get it from this raid. Now, the next exotic I want to get into is not a raid exotic. It is a legendary exotic. So the Big Horn is a weapon that only drops on legendary difficulty. If you go to your map, you'll see you have a bunch of strongholds. I typically have farmed District Union over and over to get this, and you will have to set your stronghold to legendary difficulty. Now this also does drop in Summit on legendary. So if you toggle this, you just have to set it to legendary. And like the Eagle Boar and the Ravenous. They did add it to the Dark Zone, so if you ever see ARs, you have a small chance. My recommendation is either do a Stronghold on Legendary, there's quite a few of them, or just farm Summit on Legendary and just hope it drops. Remember, you could put targeted loot as ARs on Legendary, and that could give you a better chance. So you would just toggle it like this, and then put ARs, and then that way you can see what you have there. We have targeted loot on Legendary, and hopefully you have a better chance of getting it. So either doing Summit on Legendary or completing any of the Legendary Strongholds has a chance of dropping the Bighorn. And then we have our Incursion exotic, which is a 4-man raid, and this one only drops from that Incursion raid. So if you look over here on the top left, you'll see Paradise Lost. And for this Incursion, you can matchmake with other players, so you do not have to go in there with 3 players on your team. You can matchmake if you can find players that know how to do it. You should be able to complete this fairly easy if you guys know the mechanics, and then you have a chance of getting this from either the boss drop or you can get it from the box at the end, which has a higher drop chance. So that is where you guys can get the Ouroboros. It does not drop anywhere else on the map. Now, there are 2 exotics tied to the Climax mission. If you do the Theo Parnell Climax mission at Space Administration, you have a chance of getting the Provocator chest piece. It's a guaranteed drop on Master difficulty, and the drop chance lowers for every difficulty under that. If you complete the Kelso Climax mission on Roosevelt Island, you can get the Birdie's Quick Fix pack, which is the bag, and this, again, with Master difficulty, a guaranteed drop, and any difficulty under that, the drop chance lowers. Now, remember I told you there were quest exotics that you needed to complete different quests to get these exotics. I do want to show you guys this. I will put a guide linked in the description for each one of these exotics because they do take a little bit of time. So the first one is going to be the Chatterbox. You have to collect each one of these pieces from these hyena boxes scattered throughout the map, and once you have all the parts plus the blueprint, then you'll be able to craft it. I will have a link for that one. So this one will not drop in the open world, will not drop in targeted loot until you unlock it the first time, and then after that you can have a chance of getting it again. Again, we have the Nemesis, another one. This is not added to your targeted loot pool until you do the initial Nemesis quest, unless a friend drops it for you, and then it will be added to your target loot. But if you guys want this one and want to be able to farm it, well, you're going to have to do the quest. It will be linked in the description. We also have the Liberty, another one that is a quest item. For this one, the same thing. If you guys want to see the full details, after you collect all the parts, you'll be able to craft it. And then after that, it will be added to your loot pool. And then for a gear piece, we do have one quest item, the Dodge City Gunslinger Holster. This one, you do have to complete a full quest line and a project to get this one. Again, if you have questions on how to get this one or how to unlock this one, I'll put a link for this one on there. So this is another one that will not drop in the open world until you complete that quest. Ridgeway's Pride chest piece. This is another quest item where you have to complete Summit for the very first time, and you have to collect the parts as you climb through floor 1 to 100, and at the very top, when you beat it, you'll get the blueprint, and then you can craft your very first Ridgeway Pride, and then it will be added to your loot pool. And for the Capacitor, that is another weapon that you guys can get for the very first time from Summit for doing 5 challenges. Also, at level 35, if you make a new account, you will receive a bundle that comes with the Capacitor, a level 35 Capacitor, and 4 gear pieces of skill build, so you can make yourself a skill build for the very first time. Remember, with any exotic you get at any level, you can always raise it to level 40 once you arrive to that level. Now, before we get into pretty much every other exotic, we have one more exotic that is tied to something. It is the Catalyst Mask. Now, this is tied to the DLC for Battle for Brooklyn, so if you do not own the DLC for Battle for Brooklyn, you will not be able to get this mask. It only drops in Brooklyn. Now, this mask drops from the final boss at Army Terminal, but it does have a small chance from dropping from open world bosses in Brooklyn. A lot of people have been farming Army Terminal over and over because that's where they have been getting it. I tell you, this is where I have gotten it over 10 times. And I typically, if I'm with randoms, I give it out to whoever says they need it. But again, that is where I've got it. Once you kill the Murata, you will get a chance of getting it. Now, I have seen clips and videos of people getting it for the very first time in the open world from bosses, so that is also a possibility for this map. But that's pretty much all the other exotics besides the open world exotics in target farming. So something like the St. Elmo's, which is one of the most requested, most asked about, or the Chameleon. We even have the Backfire, which is what looks like what everybody has been trying to farm for today. We have the Blue Screen, the Scorpio, Busy Little Bee, the Mosquito, the Catharsis, the Coyote's Mask, the Memento, the Ninja Bike, every single other exotic. Where can you get it? Let's talk about it. So for every other exotic in the game that does not require you to do the raid, a quest, or even farm a specific area, this is going to be how you guys can get all those exotics. So pretty much this is what most of you guys came here for. Target farming, right? So target farming will give you a chance. So if you're looking for the St. Elmo's Engine Exotic AR, you would farm Lincoln Memorial if you wanted to do the open world. If you were looking for one of the marksman rifles, you would farm Tidal Basin, and so on and so on. If you're looking for the Memento backpack or even the Ninja Bike backpack, you could do here. Now, what I will tell you is the best place I have found to farm exotics is doing Countdown. And why did I say Countdown? The reason why I like Countdown so much is because you can click on this and you can target, loot, select whatever you want. So target farm exactly what you're looking for. If you want the St. Elmo's Engine, you would click here. If you're looking for exotic shotgun, if you're looking for the Backfire, you click on the SMGs. If you're looking for LMGs, the Blue Screen, you could click here. If you're looking for one of the marksman rifles like the Mantis, you could click here. So all of them are here and you can just farm them over and over. But you can also do this in Summit. So why is Countdown a little bit better? Well, if you notice, every time you have a successful Countdown completion, you get what is called Countdown reacquisition points. And with these points, you can come over to this Countdown reacquisition station and you can buy different items. Every week, they sell 3 new items here. Not only that, you have your name item caches, your optimization caches, your burden of truth caches, and look what they have here, exotic caches. So if you were target farming, say the St. Elmo's Engine AR, and you're not getting it there, maybe you'll get lucky and get a random roll and it will drop from exotic cache. So for me, that's why I like this method just a little bit better than farming Summit, which Summit is good too, a little bit slower, and I think Countdown's a little bit more exciting. But the fact that you do get these points, you will be able to, well, buy some exotic caches. So that's gonna be your #1 way to farm specifically items if you're looking for some type of exotic. And as I mentioned before, doing priority objectives that give you exotic items is another great way for you guys to farm exotics. Now, you can't target farm those exotics, but you can get a chance of getting exotics. So if you don't have many and you want to do something a little bit different for a little bit because you're a little bored of Countdown, well, this could be a great way for you guys to farm those exotics like that. Don't forget to do your weekly projects because some of them do reward you with exotic caches, and that's another way for you to get a chance of opening up an exotic and getting that exotic you need. And that's pretty much how you get every exotic in the Division 2. Hopefully this video was informative. If you guys want to see the guides to get those quest item exotics, I will have a link in the description with a video pinned to each one of those so that way you guys can go through and check those out. If you guys are just looking for the St. Elmo's Engine, the Backfire, the Ninja Bike, the Memento backpack, well, Countdown is going to be your best friend. I recommend for you newer players, do it on challenging, and happy hunting. Remember, it's all RNG. Have fun. Keep grinding. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, nothing but skills out.